Hello and welcome. My name is Errity Green and this is Wise Woman Television. And today I am bringing you a pick a card reading on your next steps to success. So I first want to thank you so much for being here and being a part of this community. So appreciate your support. And I would also like to ask you to like and subscribe. Liking ensures we reach more lives, and subscribing ensures your own commitment to yourself. So every single time a notification pops up, which you'd have to press the bell icon in order to receive those notifications, you can return to your commitment to your own growth. So yes, thank you for being here. I also want to let you know, and then we'll move into the readings, that I do offer both personal readings as well as coaching sessions to support you to bring these readings to life. And I also provide general support in your life, in your work, and on your spiritual path. So we will begin by putting up the 3 card pile options now. And let's get going. So card pile 1, your next steps to success. So it's saying that you're going through a period of discovery, self-reflection, maybe even a healing period. Maybe you've been through some trials and tribulations and you're kind of sifting through that, moving through that. Just feels like some navigating, some inner discovery, some inner journeying. You might call it inner work or shadow work. It doesn't feel very heavy. It just feels like you're kind of looking at the things that might have held you back in the past, some of your own limitations or beliefs about your worthiness or lack thereof, some of your own insecurities or flaws or imperfections, beliefs that other people maybe could do it better than you or whatever, but you're moving through some of those questions and curiosities and just reflecting on some of those things in your life that might have held you back. Now, the guidance here, though, is saying, it sounds like that period of reflection is great for you because it'll support you to expand and actualize into greater potentials for yourself. However, it's saying be light and playful and lighthearted about this journey. It doesn't have to be super serious. It doesn't have to be super heavy. It doesn't have to be this deep, dark, melancholy-like work that, you're going to work in the trenches every day and digging out the mud. It doesn't have to feel so bad. It doesn't have to feel heavy. It doesn't have to feel like work. You can make it playful. You can make it fun. Self-discovery can be fun. It should be fun. And it's saying that you don't have to take it all so seriously. There's an opportunity here for a little bit more lighthearted energy and playfulness as you navigate these inner sort of roadblocks or hurdles or even challenges that have come through in your life to support you to break through from limitation to limitlessness. And that's really in the period that you're at. I feel like many of you might even have, this feels like it could be career or purpose path related. That doesn't feel like it's the case for everybody, but it does feel like the case for at least a minority. And so you're moving through some of those beliefs about yourself that have prevented you from signing up or have prevented you from taking the promotion or moving forward or advancing in your job or launching your business or up leveling or whatever that is for you uniquely. But it's saying that you're going through a period to see, okay, what hasn't worked and what might work differently in the future. How can I work differently in the future? And it's saying as a result of this has been brought to you so that it can bring you closer to success. So it is saying more or less that a success is inevitable for you and that this was a necessary period on your journey so that you could, in fact, like I said, release some of that old energy or those old insecurities or those limitations, because perhaps they will still be here after this journeying through this period that you've taken to self-reflect, and yet they won't have that same power over you. They won't carry the same weight. They won't be able to hold you back anymore because you'll be aware of them. You won't make decisions based on them. They won't be something like where the wool is held over your eyes. Now you're seeing clearly and you're able to make sure that you are honoring your greatest potential, your fullest potential, as opposed to honoring your fears or your self-doubt or your lack of trust in yourself or the belief that you're unworthy or other insecurities. Because it's saying this has been brought into your life, this period of self-reflection, which it does feel like for many of you was brought on by perhaps external catalysts that maybe weren't that pretty or that exciting. So sometimes we have tower moments in our lives or things that happen that shake our world up, that shake our lives up, and it can make us feel uncomfortable for a time. And it's saying for some of you that might have happened. And in fact, whatever brought this period on and even what's happening now is serving you. Even when it's hard to imagine that, it does feel like for card pile 1 that you're aware of that and you're a conscious person. So it's very clear to you that this is serving you. And That's why you're using this time to reflect and to ensure that you are honoring your highest path, your highest potential for yourself. And it's saying because of this period, you are able to obtain the success you so deserve and the success you desire. That it is on the other side of this reflection period, so that you no longer align with those old stories and old limitations that at one time in your life prevented you from actually moving forward in your work, or prevented you from moving forward into your greatest potential, however this lands for you, because obviously it's a group reading. Now, it's saying here that, yes, you step into a time period of really owning the new, and it's because you've walked this journey. So it's interesting because sometimes we'll have readings where, you know, there's all these layers and different energies that are coming through, and card pile 1, it's like every single card is affirming the energy of the previous card. It's just piggybacking on itself and saying, yep, just going ahead and confirming that. Yep, just going ahead and affirming that. So it's just offering again that you're going to be surprised at what happens as a result in your life because of this reflection period. Now, it doesn't feel like it's right around the corner. The energy doesn't feel like it's right away or right now. What it feels like is when your life does get big or grow big, or that success happens overnight, or whatever it is that you're seeking or you know is meant for you, like there's this yearning inside of you or even a knowing. But when that happens, you're able to look back and recognize this was the reason why that could happen. This self-reflection period, this self-discovery period, this releasing these old energies or ties to the past, that maybe ties to your insecurities as a child or whatever, you're able to see that this time period was necessary and essential in order for you to glow up or blow up, right? It's saying that this is more or less that inner vision quest. So sometimes we have those dark nights of the soul, and I call those inner vision quests, where we go around looking on the inside of ourselves, or the underbelly of ourselves, the subconscious parts of ourselves, to see what kind of programs are running beyond our physical eyes, and to see how things are impacting our present and future. So it's like, how are the programs and patterns from the past that we might have inherited from our parents, or learned from our parents, or learned to believe because of our parents, authority figures, caregivers, family, and anyone who surrounded us as a young child. We come to take this on and then project that into our present and our future, even as adults. But those are expired programs. Those were built when we were 2, 3 years old, 5 and 6, 7, 8 years old. So it's saying you go through this inner vision quest, and as a result, you're able to then actualize a different path for yourself as compared to the one you were on before. This next path, the truer path for you, is in much greater alignment, and also in much greater alignment, not just with you, but also this greater destiny, a grander vision for yourself, a greater potential for yourself, a fuller life, something that's more satisfactory for you, that's able to happen as a result of the uncovering of some of this debris that you've been sifting through, looking at, and reflecting on. So then it goes on to say, yeah, as I was saying, it's seriously affirming. Every single row is affirming the same things from before. So it's saying, again, you're able to understand yourself more. You're actually able to understand your inner knowings, your drives, your motivations at a deeper level. So you start to get to know yourself such that you're able to see, oh, okay, that's what motivated me in that way, or that's why I did that, or that's why I show up in that way, or that's why I make those kinds of choices. That's why I'm drawn and attracted to those kinds of people. Oh, that's why I did this in my business, or that's why I acted like that at work, or that's why I show up in my family relationships. So you're able to see those motivations, sensations, impulses, inclinations. You're starting to see those deeper parts of yourself that sort of drove different aspects of your life, and you're like, well, those aren't really relevant for me. You know, I don't need to respond to my current romantic relationship the way I did to my absent father as a child, or I don't really need to respond to my boss the way I did to my authority figure when I was 3, or I don't need to respond to my business like I'm an insecure little girl with a bunch of people who had made fun of me, right? And these are just random examples, some of them even relevant. But I'm just trying to come up with examples for you so you can understand that, you know, you get to know your inner self and sort of that Wizard of Oz that's behind the scenes, that's been the driving force of your life, that's been moving things along. It's been the captain of the ship, and you didn't know that they were captain. And obviously the design then of this self-reflection period or self-discovery period is for you to, you know, kindly, politely nudge the subconscious out of the driver's seat so that you can take seat as captain of your ship, so that you are the driver of the car, of the ship, of the plane, whatever, you know, we want to use, whichever example, but essentially it's no longer the subconscious programming or your inner child or any one of these other things, woundings and insecurities running the show. You're able to step forward as your empowered self, the one that is more aware of all these inner inklings and impulses and sensations and drives and patterns and programs and conditioning, and you're just able to see more clearly, and therefore you're able to behave differently, act differently, and make different choices and decisions for yourself that's coming from a more empowered place. Sometimes it's the awareness alone that can shift everything, because now you know what isn't true, like what is past energy, old energy, what is a limitation or what is limiting in nature. You're able to see that clearly, and what happens? You come into your full power. All right. You're no longer being you're not on the leash of the subconscious. Your subconscious doesn't have the reins of your life. You take back the reins of your life, and you're able to move forward. I want you to see the intensity in these energies. Look at both of those. Like, they're 100%, 100% anchored, convicted, all-knowing, all-powerful, have owned their power, have owned all they are, all they've been through, and they're making clear and decisive decisions for themselves based in an empowered place, in a truer place, okay? So that's what's happening for you, pile one. And it essentially says it brings out this greater blossoming, transformation, and maturity in you, such that you've spiritually matured, you've personally grown, you've become a little bit wiser, a little bit clearer, a little bit more aware. And I even feel for a lot of you, because of this deep period of transformation and growth for yourself, you also came to a place of greater love, of embodying more love for yourself, love for others, compassion for yourself, compassion for others, compassion for the suffering in the world. So you were able to actualize and understand and truly connect with and tap into deeper parts of yourself that you weren't quite aware of, that now everything's on board. You're aware of these voices from the past, and you're aware of the inner child, and you're aware of these subconscious programming, and yet you can stand on your own 2 feet and own right where you stand and make decisions for yourself from an empowered place. So your next steps to success, card pile one, is allowing this self-discovery journey. It feels like you're already moving through it. This reading might tell you a little bit more specifically the nuances and details you could be taking a look at when you are taking a look at yourself, but it does say do this playfully and lightly. Do not lose yourself to the current or dive in so deep that you pack up your bags and live there. There's no drowning or suffocating required here. This is a matter of doing the work, but doing so as playfully and lightly as you can, just allowing the journey to happen and to pass. It is something that must happen, and so it will. It too will pass, and on the other side of it is success. It's meant for you. It brings about a greater potential, fuller alignment for you than anything you would have experienced otherwise. So that's your reading, card pile one. Thank you so much for being here. If this landed for you, I encourage you to like and subscribe, share your story in the comments. And I want to let you know, as I said in the beginning, I do offer both personal readings as well as coaching sessions to support you to bring these readings to life in order to support you more generally in your life, in your work, and on your spiritual path. Thank you, card pile one. Card pile two, your next steps to success. Card pile two, it's saying you already know. It says you already have an idea. Something's already there. There's an impulse, an inclination, an idea that you haven't yet moved forward on. That's what it's saying. Now, it's saying like the time is right for success. The time is right for harvest. The time is right for bounty. Like it's almost there. It's on its way. And yet, you know, there's something that hasn't happened yet. Maybe you're stuck in some way. Maybe you haven't taken action yet. Maybe you haven't trusted yourself fully to move forward or to advance. But it's saying the idea is there. Now, if you're like, what are you talking about, Errity? I have no ideas. Okay, then it's on its way. Trust that. I feel for many of you, it's already been here, and you've either been neglecting it, ignoring it, finding all the reasons why you can't do it, you know, creating excuses for yourself. You're too busy. Life is too full. Some of these things might be valid. Okay, so look at those excuses and decide how you're going to solve that problem, right? So if it is a problem for you, how are you going to solve it so you can make room for this idea, this inspiration that's coming through? Because it's saying you're right for success, but you got to move. You got to do the thing, all right? So that's the first message for you, card pile two, when it comes to next steps to your success. Move, make your move, do the thing, do the damn thing, whatever it is, because it's certain to ripe. It's certain to bring a bounty or a harvest for yourself. Now, When I say that, what I mean, it's going to produce an outcome. There's a tangible outcome that wants to come through here. So for some of you, it might look like something like you want to write a book. And so you are in charge of that outcome and you're fully in control of writing that first chapter or second chapter or bringing it all to life. Okay, for some of you, it feels like it's something that you are going to create or produce, and it's up to you to take this idea, to take this inspiration and bring it into full form. Okay, so it's asking you, okay, do your part, bring it into form. Card pile 2, it's ripe, it's ready. You just have to bring it to form. So the next piece, though, is it's saying that you're working through perhaps some inner blocks. Now, I personally don't believe in blocks to the extent that they actually exist. Blocks exist to the degree that we are honoring them through our actions or believing them in terms of our thoughts or entangling ourselves in old emotional energy attached to this block. So blocks exist to the degree that we say they do, right? Or that we believe or affirm that they do through our decisions, actions, and so on. However, it's saying you've had some blocks, like not believing in yourself, not trusting it. I do feel like a lot of it has to do with not believing in yourself. Not believing in perhaps this product that is to come of this idea, not believing it'll be valuable enough, or what's the point, or that would be silly, or I don't even know if I could do it. But just some self-limitations, some self-doubt, lack of self-trust here, lack of believing in the self. I do sense of lack of self-confidence, and they're saying there's an opportunity for some healing here, for some releasing these old beliefs, these old ties to the past. Because what it's saying is this might have been tied to a previous identity or version of you that might have been relevant to the conditions of your past. So perhaps some of you, weren't fully seen or valued or heard as a child in your family home. Perhaps some of you were made fun of and made to feel insecure at school. People didn't understand you, or you were the weirdo, the oddball out, or you took an alternative path. You weren't fully understood in that way. Now, whatever it was that your path was, apply it to your own situation and circumstance. It's saying the way that you felt about yourself then might have been a natural byproduct of what happened then. However, that was in the past. There's no reason to carry this energy into the future because it doesn't honor who you are today and the growth that you've done and the person, the shoes that you fill today. Those are old energies tied to an old story, tied to an old identity as a result of the circumstances and conditions, the environment, the conditioning of your past. They actually don't matter anymore. They're irrelevant. They've expired, and yet you might have carried some of this energy into the future unknowingly, right? This happens subconsciously. There was a lot of subconscious work as well in card pile 1, and for you, it doesn't feel as deep. Theirs was primarily, the focus of the reading for card pile 1. Card pile 2, it's saying, this is really just one little piece of your puzzle right now. It's one little piece of the pie, but it is impacting you on some level. It's preventing you from taking action and moving toward what it is you've been called to move toward. It's an idea. It might even be an opportunity for some of you, and yet you've stalled or you haven't answered. You're delaying, you're postponing that opportunity or even answering to that offer or opportunity. And again, it's because of these old insecurities. Remind yourself that these are old stories, that they're no longer relevant, and that's going to be the healing that's required here. Is really getting to know the other part of yourself, the other parts of yourself that are more aligned with the empowered adult that you are today. That where you are today, that honors the growth that you've done. You're here, you're watching this channel, you've done a lot of growth. If you're on this wavelength, you've done the thing. And so first of all, acknowledge that. Congratulate yourself, celebrate all the work that you've done, and recognize these are old stories that have nothing to do with where you are now. They can literally just be a thought. It can just be a feeling. You honor that. You sit with that for as long as needed, and you move on. You do bring this to life. That's the guidance here. Yeah. Yeah. So these next cards just affirm everything that we just shared here. There's a breakthrough that's either on its way or happening. For many of you, I feel like it's happening. So the energy feels like it's already bursting. And so what I mean by that is you're probably watching this and being like, oh my gosh, yes, yes, yes. Like this is just confirming what you're already experiencing. So awesome. And for those of you where you're like, well, that breakthrough has not happened for me. It's saying the opportunity is here, so take it. This reading is specifically telling you what's happening with you. Now you have more clarity. Now you have awareness as to what's happening, what's holding you back, what's blocking you. It's just your own stories. It's just your past history. Old programs that have expired. The Wizard behind the Wizard of Oz, right, behind the curtain, doesn't have to decide how your life goes from here. You get to make that decision. Choose to see the truth and whole of you, the powerful version of you, the truer part of you. The aligned version of you, your soul, your higher self, doesn't identify with any stories. It doesn't even identify with this big success stories and the big dream stories. It recognizes the beauty available in all things, the opportunity in all things. All of that to say, as a human, of course, you have the free will to decide whichever outfit you want to wear today. So the guidance is choose to wear the outfit of your greatest success. Choose to embody those beliefs and choose to attend to those thoughts. We might not be able to control our thoughts, but we can control what we attend to. So it's saying, attend to the stories that are telling a different story, that offer a different vibe or energy, that make you feel good, that make you feel empowered. That's the healing that's available here and the breakthrough that's available here. That those stories or maybe excuses even that you're making, those are just tied to a past story, an old voice, an expired chapter. You've moved on. Yeah, because again, seeing yourself as all powerful and embodying that energy as opposed to again, those limiting patterns, those limiting beliefs, because what it's feeling like is you might have a habit of looking out into the world. And again, let's just say we'll go back to the example of a book or whatever it is you are meant to bring out. Some of you are artists, some of you are creatives. You're wanting to bring something out into the world. You're wanting to bring something to fruition. Earlier, I felt the energy of like an offer, an opportunity on the table. And it's saying that, you know, on occasion too, because of those insecurities or self-imposed limitations, you compare yourself to others. And again, it's the same story, but a different form where you're saying, oh, you know, they can do it way better than me, or how do I know it'll be this, and maybe it won't turn out to be as good as this person. Again, you get into these stories and you're talking about other people. You might have been jealous of other people at times, but again, that's all tied to those old stories, those old insecurities. You can stand on your own 2 feet in your own power, and none of that has a say, none of that has a voice, none of it's even relevant for you, pile 2. Like, it's not even relevant. Your creations are your own creations. They are unique to you. And here you are, card pile 2. The next steps to your success is to own your uniqueness, own your own power, and bring forth whatever you've been called to bring forth. Anything else is a distraction. Anything else is an excuse. Anything else is self-sabotage. Because it's saying where you end up here is really connected to yourself, the beat of your own heart, the beat of your own drum. A drum and a heart that cannot possibly be compared to anyone else's because it's your heart, your own beating heart and your own beating drum. Can we really compare hearts and drums? There's no comparison. Like, this one in and of itself is whole and complete and beautiful and powerful and deserving of love as it is. And so is this heart and this drum and this heart and this drum. Everyone's sort of walking to the beat of their own drum. And who are we to say which one's better or worse or this or that? And certainly, how can we possibly look at our own heart and say it's a bad heart? It's not. It's working. It's functioning. You're alive. You're watching this. And what that means is applying that to yourself is recognizing that, you know, how could we possibly decide that we are unworthy or that we can't do this or that, you know, you don't believe in yourself or whatever that is. How can you make those decisions when, you know, you do exist, right? Just like that heart and that drum. How are we to say that it's any less perfect or that you can't do it? Again, it feels like self-sabotage. It feels like an excuse to keep you stalled, to keep you not moving toward your path, toward your success. And it does say that here, you know, as a result of you moving toward this creation of yours or this opportunity, just essentially saying yes, giving yourself the green light to however you can apply this to your situation, to the next project, to the launch, yes to the offer, bringing this into fruition, whatever it is, you connect more deeply to your truest self, your highest self, your soul, yourself as the creator of your own life, you as source. You're connecting with that deeper, truer part of you that really is unbound by any old limitation or insecurity, that can't possibly speak to your worth, can't possibly speak to your highest potential, and certainly not to your success. So card pile 2, your next steps to success are bringing this to fruition no matter what it is, seeing all the energy in the way of that as an excuse and self-sabotage, and advancing anyway. So good work, pile 2. I look forward to hearing your comments. Like and subscribe if this resonated for you. Share your story in the comments. I do want to let you know I do offer both personal readings as well as coaching sessions to support you to bring this reading to life or to support you more generally in your life, in your work, and on your spiritual path. So thank you, card pile 2. All right, card pile 3. This is your reading on your next steps to success. So it says like you've been kind of journeying around, maybe even exploring, deciding what's meant for you, deciding what you want. It feels exploratory. It feels like a journey. It feels like you've been, so this could go one of two ways. I feel like some of you could actually be traveling and, traveling around the world. But for most of you, the energy feels like, a good part of your life or the recent season of your life has just been kind of getting to know what you want. Is this what you want? Asking yourself those questions so that you can sort of create or find that opportunity, that path, that truth, whatever it is that actually lands for you on all levels. It's a physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual compatibility that you share with this path. Now, for each of you, and we might find out with the other cards or the other layers of this reading, we might get more clarity onto what we're speaking to specifically here. But with this first card, what I'm getting so far is like, you know, your next steps to success. Many of you are seeking your purpose in life. You're seeking your career path. You're deciding how you can be of contribution in the world. You know, how you can share your gifts with the world. Perhaps deciding even in what way you can be on purpose in a way that is successful. So not just, you know, some of you are feeling like, I don't just want to do my art, I want to be able to share it, and I want to be successful at that, okay? So for card pile 3, I'm finding you've been exploring for a time, getting to know what you really like, what you really want, with trying to figure out your purpose in life, your life path, your life purpose. Again, for some of you, that could be career path, even deciding how you're going to share your work in the world, share your message in the world, your contribution in the world, and you really want it to be something that lands on all levels for you, that really deeply lands and resonates for you, because it also feels like you will be most successful and most impactful when you are doing something that really aligns for you. So that's the first thing that's coming up. Let's go ahead and see here. Now, it is saying that, excuse me, it's saying that there's like, your mind might get in the way. This reminds me of the devil card in the tarot, if you're familiar. Now, this isn't the tarot, this isn't the devil, but it's the Osho Zen Tarot. And what's coming through is that, like, second guessing, not really trusting yourself, letting the mind dialogue get in the way, the monkey mind have a say. It's sort of like when your mind takes over and wants to like plan things or decide on things or do things, and like you're not there, like not all parts of you are on board. What can happen, what I mean by that is, sometimes we'll take the job just for the pay, okay? Or we'll keep the job because it's paying the bills and taking care of our family and it's ensuring our survival. Or we don't take the promotion because we're unsure of the time or effort requirements or whatever, and even though we really like the idea of it and it might be serving us, we feel like it will, that taking the leap is important for our souls, we don't do it because it feels more comfortable or familiar to stay in our comfort zone, and or again, it's what pays the bills. So there's like this feeling of not always pursuing what it is that you truly want that does resonate for you on all levels, because you feel like you have to do what you need to do to survive or to be comfortable, you know, however that lands and resonates for you. Now, I will say that some of you do feel that, and that might be valid. I want to make sure that I share that. I am not one of those ungrounded spiritual teachers who are going to say, hey, take the leap and good luck. Hopefully physical reality shows up for you. You know, hopefully God provides the safety net. Because I am getting the energy here that some of you are accurate and there might be a need for a plan. But as opposed to letting the mind step in and be the driver of everything and make all the decisions for you, it's like letting your mind work for you. So you decide what's going to happen. You decide how you're going to move forward, how you are going to bridge the gap between where you are now and where you want to be, right? Because you might be in a job that just pays the bills, but you'd really like to be in sharing your work in the world in a different way, sharing your gifts in the world in a different way, stepping into a more artistic or creative role, otherwise sharing yourself and sharing a contribution that really resonates and lands for you in all ways that feels fully aligned, like you really want that, and yet you might be in a dead-end job right now or in something, however you can apply it to your situation, it might require a plan. So in a year, I want to be doing that, and right now I'm at this job, and I'm going to create a plan. I'm going to follow that plan in order to bring this other vision to life. So it's like you're not going to ignore your purpose. You're not going to ignore what it is that you want for yourself. You can honor any of the worries or concerns that your mind has through making a plan. If you ever find that you're nervous or worried, and I do feel some self-doubt and some self-defeating behaviors and maybe some self-sabotage, I feel a little bit of that energy too. We covered a lot of that in card pile 2, so if it lands for you, you could go there, where we go pretty deep into that. But card pile 3, I feel more of like your mind getting in the way in terms of survival or scarcity and whatever. We ease the concerns of the mind by making a plan. Then we stick to it, and then our soul has the opportunity to shine and to expand and to be all it can be and do what it wants to do on this plane and in this world. And our mind is used as a tool. So it can have a say, it just doesn't have the final say, and it doesn't have the authority. But we can ease its concerns through a plan to bridge any gaps that we feel like might be necessary that bring out concern for us. Because it's saying, you know, turning inward, instead of listening to the mind and what it has to say in terms of how your life should go or how this next path or chapter should be dictated or whatever. Because like I said, card pile 3, this feels very exploratory. You're still kind of finding your purpose in the world, what you want to do, what you want to share. It doesn't feel like you yet have firm footing, and that's a perfect place to be. And it's saying take opportunities to really listen to yourself, listen to your soul, listen to what it is, that inner voice, that nudge, those sensations, what you feel compelled to do, those things inside of you. Where is it drawing you? Where is it pulling you? As opposed to that mind that tells you, oh, you have to do it this way because it pays the bills. You have to do it this way because that's what your parents said, or you have to go to medical school because your dad was a father, right? A lot of that old programming and conditioning and things that's of the mind that really doesn't honor all layers and levels of the truth of you, your authentic self. Your authentic self wants to be heard here, and it wants to shine. That's what's going to bring out a life in true alignment. So take a look, you know, because it's saying that there's an opportunity here to, number one, I'm feeling the energy of once you start listening to and honoring your deepest, truest self, your authentic self, that's when things start lining up for you and things start falling into place and the manifestations start happening. You know, the breadcrumbs, the red carpet starts to unfold in front of you that leads you to a more abundant life, or to a life experience that feels more satisfactory for you, that feels more aligned, feels more fulfilling. So not only that, and it's saying you have an opportunity to enjoy your life as it is now, no matter where you find yourself. And it's the mind that might make you miserable. For you, card pile 3, I feel like your mental energy is a drag, like it just kind of leeches or pulls energy from you, that life doesn't have to feel so hard. Let this exploratory part of the journey be fun. This reminds me of card pile 1 too. Letting it be fun, letting it be engaging, letting it be playful. Not everything has to be so serious. And if you find yourself in a job that isn't your end game, that's just your stepping stone, so be it. Enjoy your journey while you're there. Recognize that the mind might have some stories about this as to why it doesn't like it, or that it can't, that it has to be for forever or whatever. That can have it say, okay, all right, mind, I hear you. And my authentic self says that I'm meant for more, that I want to do something that feels more purposeful, that lights me up on every level, and that this is just a stepping stone where I am right now, and I have many more steps to take, and I'm going to enjoy my life as it is, but I am going to be moving toward my true north, whatever that is for you. Because again, it says, though, you can tend to get comfortable. Again, we're talking about those excuses or self-sabotage. You can tend to get comfortable, again, in that comfort zone, and that dead-end job, on that stepping stone, and just be like, forget it, this is where I am now, maybe this is where I'm at forever, this is all that's meant for me, whatever. And you might, I feel some of you might even self-medicate, or maybe consume, like have a drink after work to kind of forget that life or that work even happened today, whatever that, however that lands for you, right? Make sure that it lands for you. If it doesn't, let it be. But it's saying like, you kind of allow the doldrums or like the routine or monotony of whatever your life is right now, whether it's a job or it's just the pace of the routine or lifestyle that you have right now, you kind of let it get to you and numb you out and just be like, forget about it. Again, I'll stay comfortable, or this pays the bills, so it's going to stick around. Whatever that is for you, apply it to your own circumstance. It's saying that you have an opportunity to manifest something different. You have an opportunity for a more abundant life, for a more truly aligned lifestyle, for something that is more satisfactory, that's something that is more fulfilling, that lights you up, that's saying that's what you want. You're searching for meaning, you're searching for purpose, you're searching for joy, you're searching for something that truly lights you up and gets you going. So don't let this be, the stepping stone be the dead end where you decide to pack up and live there. There's more meant for you, just keep moving, but make sure you move and make sure you make that plan. That the mind doesn't have the final say, but we can make our plan, and you need to start taking that plan, of course. And then here's your final card, right? Get moving, all right? Advance on that path. Follow those breadcrumbs, follow those morsels, whatever you've got, follow it. Move toward your curiosities, move toward your desires, even if they're subtle. Move toward your subtle passions, even if you don't have like a really crazy end game kind of passion that like gives you life every day, especially if you've self-medicated or numbed out for a while, or you've kind of shelved this old dream or what it is you truly want. You've had to suppress it in order to like make it through the day and just let yourself be because you didn't want all that pressure. Even if that's the case, move toward those things that are a slight nuance of a curiosity or a subtle desire or a subtle passion. Get to know those things. Like I said, let yourself journey, because it was saying in the very beginning that you're kind of still figuring things out. Well, let yourself figure it out. Enjoy the journey. Get to know the things that you really want, the things that light you up, the things that feed you, nourish you, the things you want to share, the things that make you feel an overflow and generous and want to go out there and share it with the world, you know, and start taking steps toward that. Because once you start moving, feeling something in my throat chakra. So some of you might have something to say. You definitely want to be stepping into your fuller expression. You definitely want to be coming into your own creative expression, self-expression, purpose, something like that. You're feeling blocked here, and it's because some of you might even have sore throats regularly, or whatever, lymph nodes or whatever, because you haven't fully stepped into your purpose and allowed yourself to shine in that. And it's saying that breakthrough, whatever it is you want, what clears out these old energies and actually supports you to manifest something that's more aligned with what you truly want, is when you start moving. So don't let yourself go home and do the same routine of monotony. Don't just settle. Essentially, card pile 3 is all about not settling and exploring those other horizons for you, those greater potentials for yourself. But it's saying, yeah, don't settle. Start moving toward the inclinations, the curiosities, or the desires that you do have. That's when that breakthrough happens. That's when that clarity comes. And that's when you're able to, again, start moving, where the red carpet unfolds before you, and you follow that one foot right after the next, right? One step and then the next, until it ends up fruiting, you know, or materializing into that greater dream or destiny that you have for yourself. So your next steps to success are allowing yourself to explore those desires, recognizing that the things that the mind says about survival and scarcity, all those things aren't true, that you don't have to settle, that you can have a fuller life, but you do have to start moving toward it. So thank you, card pile 3. If this lands or resonates for you, I encourage you to like and subscribe, or share your story in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. I also want to let you know that I do offer both personal readings as well as coaching sessions to support you to bring this reading to life, or to support you more generally in your life and your work and on your spiritual path. So thank you, card pile 3. It was a joy.